Then Sports Central, we go over our next team prediction of this offseason, and it's going to be over the Arkansas Razorbacks, a team that went 7-6 overall in the 2022 season. This was a good team last season. They just took a few close losses. But all this team being 2023, and why I think this team definitely shows a lot of potential looking forward to 2023 is we'll be talking about here today. We'll be analyzing this team and predict their schedule game by game in this video. Let's get started with a quick recap of 2022. Once again, the record was 7-6. Honestly, it was a good season for this team. They started out the season 3-0. Nice win over Cincinnati. Beat South Carolina by a couple of touchdowns. Beat Missouri State. And then the first loss of the season came against Texas A&M there in a 23-21 loss. And that was kind of a common theme in 2022 was those close losses. I mean, you look at the Texas A&M loss. You look at the Liberty loss by 2. The LSU loss by 3. This team hung around with LSU, one of the best teams in the SEC. A really solid team last season. And then they lost to Missouri in the last game of the regular season by 2 as well. So 4 really close losses for this team last season. That definitely was a bit disappointing. I mean, they did lose to Alabama 49-26, and the Mississippi State loss was pretty ugly. But I mean, this team looked impressive against BYU there on the road, beat Auburn by a couple of touchdowns, took care of Ole Miss 42-27. That was probably... in fact, I'd probably say that was the best win of the season for this team. And then, of course, beat Kansas 55-53 in triple overtime in the Liberty Bowl. What a game that was there. And we saw Arkansas get a nice win to finish out the season. So 7-6 was the record, but looking forward to 2023 now. Your roster preview heading into the season. KJ Jefferson coming back. He's got some experience now, and he is a quarterback to keep an eye on as we look forward to 2023. Last season, he overall was really good. 2,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 68% completion rate. I mean, you also consider he rushed for nearly 700 yards and 9 touchdowns. He's a true dual-threat quarterback, and he is dangerous. Looking forward to 2023. The backfield looks awesome as well. Raheem Sanders coming back, who put up over 1,700 yards of offense last season, 12 touchdowns. This backfield has got potential to be one of the best in the country. There's no doubt with that. A.J. Green also coming back, who put up nearly 500 yards of rushing. So, I mean, the backfield looks awesome. The receiving core, you do lose a few key players here. Of course, Matt Landers is gone. Jaden Hazelwood's gone. Trey Knox is gone. Ketron Jackson Jr. is gone. So, you're losing your top 4 in the receiving core. That is going to be a bit of a blow looking forward to 2023. But at least the backfield, that's going to be your main strength, is rushing the ball as we look forward to 2023. The receiving core, it will definitely reload a bit, but it is going to be a bit more inexperienced as we look forward to 2023. I mean, your top 2 receivers in Hazelwood and Landers were far and away the top receivers on the team. They combined for 1,600 yards. And otherwise, if you look at, say, Trey Knox and Ketron Jackson, both of them combined for 500, 600. So those 2 top receivers there especially are going to be tough losses. But there's 1 on the O-line, 1 on the D-line, 2 linebackers, and then 4 in the secondary. So defensively, not too bad. The secondary does lose a few key players there, but otherwise, I'd say things look okay defensively. So, I mean, this is still a team, KJ Jefferson. This is a team with big potential, I think, looking forward to 2023. Can this team be an SEC dark horse? I mean, we've seen that the past few years. This Arkansas team has been solid in the SEC. I mean, 2021, this was a 9-win football team, which hadn't happened since, 2011. So, I mean, this team is very much in a great position right now. Sam Pittman's done an excellent job. I mean, I think the future is very bright for Arkansas, and this is a team with a lot of potential looking forward to 2023. So your transfer portal and recruiting now. So Malik Hornsby is off to Texas State. We got Jacoby Criswell coming in from North Carolina, who actually wasn't a terrible quarterback. So it's going to be nice having him in there as your backup for KJ Jefferson. Trey Knox is off to South Carolina. You do lose a few of your receivers. I mean, once again, the receiving core is going to be totally different. Looking forward to 2023, multiple players transferring out. Trey Knox to South Carolina. I mentioned Ketron Jackson, who is off to Baylor. Tyrone Broden is coming in from Bowling Green, expected to be a wide receiver 2. Varquez Gums, tight end, is coming in from North Texas. He's expected to be a starter, so keep an eye on him. Andrew Armstrong is coming in. Isaac Tesla, receivers coming in from Hillsdale. So a couple of key players coming in from smaller colleges there. And then Warren Thompson is in the transfer portal, receiver from last season. Offensive tackle Joshua Braun's coming in from Florida. Expect him to have an immediate impact. Marcus Henderson, offensive tackle, is off to Memphis. You bring in Trajan Jeffcoat, edge rusher from Missouri. Expect him to be a starter. Jordan Dominic's off to Colorado. You bring in Anthony Booker and Antonio Greer. Both of them, expect them to be great as well. So, I mean, that is a great thing about Arkansas. This is a team that is losing a lot of key players, but the transfer portal has been generally great for this team, which is definitely a positive. Jaheim Thomas, linebacker, coming in from Cincinnati. Jaheim Singletary, defensive back, coming in from Georgia. Most of these guys are going to be starters in 2023. Wildcat, expect him to be. Safety coming in from Baylor. You bring in LaRondo Johnson from Baylor as well. Miles Slusher's off to Colorado. Kari Johnson off to Boston College. You bring in Keon Stewart from TCU. And you lose Trent Gordon in the transfer portal. So a lot of big moves in the transfer portal for Arkansas. Quite a list there. And I mean, it's not even limited to the players that I just named off as well. There are more players. These are just your key ones. Recruiting-wise, this team is 22nd in the country, 9th in the SEC. Got 8 4-stars coming in, 13 3-stars. So recruiting has overall been, I'd say, pretty great for this team as well. Obviously, the SEC, the elite conference of recruiting. Arkansas is ranked 9th out of 14 in the conference, despite being 22nd in the country. But future's bright for this team. I've got them at an 8 out of 10 on the future forecast meter. I mean, this is a team that, once again, has really been on the rise the past couple of years. 2 really solid seasons in a row. I mean, so things are looking good for the future for Arkansas. Looking forward to 2023. And let's take a look at the 2023 schedule now. So you got Western Carolina week 1 and then Kent State week 2. So 2 very winnable games there to start your season. Then BYU, a new Big 12 team there on September 16th, which BYU next season could be decent. Kid on Slovis, I see them kind of right around 6 to 7, maybe 8 wins. I'd probably say 6 to 7 if we're narrowing that down a bit, but still BYU a decent team. And then you got a tough one here. LSU on the road, Texas A&M in a neutral location there. I'm assuming that's going to be in Arlington. Ole Miss on the road there on the 7th. Alabama on the road on the 14th. Then you got Mississippi State at home. Then you're by Florida on the road, Auburn at home, FIU at home, and then Missouri at home to finish out the regular season. So you got your last 3 games all at home, which is nice. Most of your road games there are in the second month of action there in October. But taking a look at September here, Western Carolina, easy win. Kent State, easy win. You should start the season 2-0 pretty easily. I mean, Arkansas is far and away the more talented team against Western Carolina and against Kent State. Then you got BYU. This is going to be a closer matchup. I do think BYU puts up a fight here, but Arkansas, they definitely got the home field advantage here. I really do like the Razorbacks to get the win, but BYU puts up a fight. I can see them keeping it close, but give me Arkansas in the end. And then LSU on the road. Baton Rouge, brutal place to play. LSU next season, I see being a national contender once again. That team has got all of the signs of being a big contender. So a tough game here. I think you put up a fight, but LSU is going to get the win in the end. So you're 3-1 heading into the second month of action. Texas A&M there in Arlington. I do think you win this one this season. I mean, Texas A&M I do think will be better. They just disappointed so much in 2022. I do think that they're going to be much better in 2023, and you get a nice win there against Texas A&M. And then you got 2 tough road games here. Ole Miss on the road and then Alabama on the road. I do think you lose both these games. You beat Ole Miss last season in a really nice win, but I do think you dropped that one. And then Alabama, I mean, that's just a brutal team. And honestly, Alabama, I do think they might be off to a bit of a slow start in 2023, just because of a few of the questionable areas offensively, I would say. But I do think Alabama finds their stride by mid-October, and they get a nice win over Arkansas there. And then Mississippi State at home, I think you beat the Bulldogs. So you're 5-3 heading into November. Florida on the road, Gainesville, a tough place to play. I do want to take Florida there. I do think the Gators are a beatable team. I don't see them being too good in 2023. I think maybe 5 to 7 wins. That's kind of where I got them. But I do think Florida steals a win off Arkansas there. Kind of a tough matchup. even though you do have it after your bye. So it's a winnable matchup. I'm gonna still take Florida there. And then Auburn at home, a nice win there and a close one. FIU, you beat them easily. And then Missouri could be a decent team next season, maybe right around 5 to 7 wins as well. So for Missouri's standards, that'd be pretty good. But honestly, I'd say, yeah, 6 to 8 wins is honestly very much within reason for Missouri. So a nice win there, and you're 8-4 to finish out the regular season, which honestly, if you can get up to 8 wins or so, I mean, that'd still be a really good season, I think, for this team. I mean, this is a team with tremendous potential, and I've got for the ceiling 10-2 for this team. So I do think 10 wins is within possibility, even though it's going to be really tough to get there. Obviously, the SEC is just a brutal conference. It's a gauntlet week in, week out. And I mean, you got Ole Miss on the road, Alabama on the road, LSU on the road. All three of those teams especially are going to be brutal teams to beat. I just don't know that you can beat more than 2 of those teams. So I do want to say 8-4 for my prediction. I do think it's obviously a challenging schedule, but once again, I think 8-4 is very much reasonable for this team. The floor is going to be 6-6. That's the worst possible record you could have. This is a talented team right now, a team that's got depth and is very much on the rise, looking forward to 2023. So 8-4, a good season for this team. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, though, on the Razorbacks, and I appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.